Hello. Hi everybody. I forgot to do something. Just a second. Leave me alone. Go away. Whisper keeps wanting stuff. Seamus is pestering him. Is bullying him. Give me just 1 second here, because I'm always fighting time. Okay. There we go. Now I can start on it. The thing was that I wanted to do some stuff. I had to do some stuff ahead of time. So I got stuff that's kind of like in between, so we don't have to wait. Okay. One of my things has disappeared. What the heck? What happened to it? I had 2 fronts of brooches and one just disappeared. I brought them here. What in the world? Okay. Let me say hello and then I'll take a short trip to the kitchen to make sure. Hi Francis, hi Norma Jean, hi Fran, Ellen, Judy, Sharon, Donna, Ermi, Carolyn, and Susan and Zoe. Hello. So, yeah, we're gonna do a bow of holly brooch, and I want to show you several ways of doing it. And for some reason, I lost one of my things. Give me just a second. Let me check. Yeah, never mind. I just confused myself. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to show you, even if I showed it so many times, I'm going to show you one more time how to do the easiest way a brooch. These are steel soaps that normally are used to get the smell of onions from your fingertips when you're chopping onions, but they make beautiful and awesome baking blanks, and you can find these. I have them on my Amazon influencer store. Let me give you real quick the link, and you look on the baking blanks, because you know how hard it is for YouTube to allow me to post a long link. So this is the Amazon influencer store. Hi Silver. Hi Jennifer, I'm in a hurry. Hi Colleen. And then you can also find them at PolyClay. Let me get them straight. And there are several kinds. You'll notice in my Amazon store that I have found quite a few different sizes and dimension. Yeah, they are good for garlic as well. So you can find them also at PolyClay if you're going to get more stuff, you know. So, hi Lydia. Hi Kim. Okay, so number 1, I'm going to pass some scrap clay and It doesn't really matter if it's more greenish, more grayish, or more brownish. Still mud clay. So you get it on the thickest setting, and then you simply place it on the steel thingy, and you do this just in case you might have gotten an air bubble underneath it, you know. Hi, Christy. Hi, Barbara. Yeah, kinda. I'm just trying to do more stuff. By the way, if you don't follow my Facebook page, I have a few new tutorials in the store on my website, and I also started a Thanksgiving sale for the paid tutorials for 20% off. Let me give you the link. And I'm in the process of rearranging the website so it would be a little bit more mobile friendly. There we go. Okay, so I kind of roughly trimmed the top, the extra clay, sorry. It comes from trying to think about several things at the same time. And Seamus is driving me nuts because he keeps bullying Whisper. Actually, it's not bullying. Seamus loves Whisper. And he's absolutely desperate about Whisper loving him too. But because what happens when I first got the twins, the two cats, I had two dogs. I also had Maya, who was a lurcher. That's a greyhound and terrier mix. And Maya was a very sweetheart, but she had a lot of health issues. Anyway, when the cats were kittens, they Connor got bonded with Whisper and Seamus got bonded with Maya, because it was funny because their furs kind of matched. You saw how Seamus is a little bit more orangish, and that was pretty much the color of Maya's fur. And then when I had to put Maya to sleep in January 2016, Seamus was really, really, really upset. For a few months, he just kept roaming the house whining. And then he shifted his love on Whisper. And especially when Whisper goes outside, Seamus would sit at the door and cry until Whisper comes back in. And for a long time, I couldn't figure out why. And then I realized that it was because Maya left the house and never came back. So he's scared that maybe Whisper won't come back. I don't even want to think how it's going to be for them when Whisper will be gone. But anyway, Seamus tries to love on Whisper, and Whisper doesn't like him because when they were babies, I kept them in one of those big folding crates. And you know how kittens cannot retract their claws. And every time one of the dogs was going by the crate, Seamus would try to snag them. And Maya didn't really care, but Whisper, being a whippet, doesn't have undercoat. So he didn't like being snagged at. And even now, after so many years, Whisper still doesn't trust Seamus. And Seamus tries to gang up on him. He would sit in the door step, so that whenever Whisper has to go by, he would have to go very close to him. So he's been doing that to Whisper all day long. And it's driving me nuts. Okay, so I have this and the rigid blade. And I'm going to just hold the rigid blade at about this angle. And And of course you can use other textures, but I'm going to just use the sponge. And this is the first, you know, rough trim, because you can see at this point I have all kinds of things. My next thing, see how I'm holding it at an angle again. Just go along, all around. And I'm sorry for yesterday morning, but I messed up and I had set up a live that was sponsors only as public, so I had to restart it. I'm sorry. Okay, and now we still have some extra, so I'm going to go trim the extra. And always, once it's done, you can gently sand the edges, but this is not all. My next move is going to be this, and then I'm going to take the sponge. Hello, you didn't. And just go all around and give it some texturing. And of course, if you want to be more precise, you can simply just get an oval cutter and cut it, but I needed to make it a little bit bigger, and I'll show you how to do with an oval cutter, or you can use even a round cutter as well. So this should be it. I'm going to go all on the edges. You can do actually any shape you want on these, and if you don't have these and you don't have money for them, you can just get the, you know, the bottom of cans, Coke cans or beer cans. So this would be it. Now once it is, let me actually show you how to do it with the cutter. What you need to make sure is that you have your pin, your brooch pin, that your thing would be about 1 finger width longer. Yeah, it comes, the sponge used to, Donna Cato used to sell it, but she hasn't sold them in a while. I've been trying to find something similar. Right now you can only find them in Europe. It's called Clay Yo, Y-O. Let me see what cutters I got here, if there's any that would. You can even do, as long as it's not bigger than this, you can even do a petal cutter. Again, make sure that you don't have any air trapped. And that would be it. Or let me grab an oval. But as I said, you can do any shape practically. Let's see, with an oval and with a round. Okay, oval. But see, it would be much smaller than what I did, and I wanted to make it a little bit bigger so we can see. Hi, Mihaela. And again, the sponge. And with the round. Yeah, let's get this one. No, this one is not long enough. Let's get this one. The same thing. And texture. You can also use a round light bulb for this, because why use these and not make them square? Because you need your brooch to have a little bit of a curve inside. Yeah, I know. Hi, Isabel. Yeah, iPads usually don't let you, and a lot of the phones don't allow you to get. It depends on what app you're using. Okay, now let's get to the one that I already baked, and I'll show you again how to do the how to put the pin in. Come. Just need to find the, there we go. There. So at this point, what you want to do is to get a piece of sandpaper or your sanding wand. And yes, let me say ahead of, before I forget, I will make a live soon on how to, I'll show once again how to use the sanding wand. Okay, so right now I'm going to just simply shave this a little bit, because I don't want to have to bring water and the whole 9 yards for sanding. Okay, just a second, because I got the one that's already made in the oven and it just dinged. Just a second. Okay, and I started saying why you need something that's got a curve. Yeah, the sponge is very hard to find. At this point, it's only in Europe. Donna Cato's not... oh, I forgot to make a little... Let's do it while it's still hot. Okay. Okay, let me get back. So you want a curve inside, so because you want the pin to be hidden, so that when you put it on, you know how when you put in a brooch on, if you get the pin away, so if you wouldn't have this curve to, no, I already got it. If you don't have this curve with the pin inside, it will kind of be like this because gravity. So you need something that will have a little bit of a concavity. Okay, now again, the Clayo, you cannot find them anymore in the US. Let me see, because there was a, I've been saying, and I think it's on my website. Yeah, it's in Happy Things in Europe. Let's see. Oh yeah, Donna Kato has them again. Yay. Okay, so Donna Kato, woohoo. Hurry up before she runs out again. So that's Donna Kato. And for Europe, they are not the same. I've been trying to get samples of fish tank filters because those sometimes have that. But it's very hard to find something that would be exactly. And remember, this comes in 3. Let me see if I have all 3 out here. I might have them in the other drawer. So these come, it's $10, but you have 3 different textures. One that's very small, one that's larger, and this one that's the largest. Alrighty. Keep the white one out. And anything that I found, I told you, the only ones that would be are certain types of fish tank filter stuff, because everything else is very, very thick. And it's not this strong. The fibers are more mushy. Okay, now let's do the backing. First thing we need to do, obviously, is to put some Bacon Bond. Yeah, I am very excited. I might get another set here after I get offline. So we got this, and again, put it here, but then start from the middle, start going outwards to make sure you don't trap air. And you do this until you see that you kind of can see the edges, and then you don't have to worry about anything else. Simply first go with the roller like this, because remember, anytime you roll raw clay over a hard edge, oh, they are, then you might have to get them in Europe. I'm sorry, that's been a problem. So you just keep rolling with your roller over the edge here. And it just comes off perfectly. Next, we are going to use the texture again. I did put in the Amazon store a fish tank filter, but it's not exactly like this. It's got a much smaller weave. It's kind of like the small one in this. Okay, so we got this. The next thing we need to do is to get the first of all, you want to open your brooch. You always do it with the brooch open. And you go ahead and you press it. I always like to put the pin a little bit up, just because, remember, it's that gravity thing. It will have the tendency to go like this, considering this would be your head and here your feet, it will have the tendency to go like this. But if you put the brooch pin a little bit higher, then it won't be able to do that. I'm gonna look for more of the, maybe you can, I don't know if Nembravka doesn't sell them. Hold on, let me check. Because Nembravka has a good shipping. Give me just a minute, because I think I saw something. Okay, polymer clay. Let's see. What the heck? They changed the arranging. What is special clays? They have special clays. Okay, texture sheets. Let me search sponge. No, they don't have it. I'll look some more to see if I can find it anywhere else, but it's not much that you can do about it. You know, they've been raising prices on shipping all over the world. It's horrible. Okay, so grab your brooch pin and also think how you're going to put it in. If you're left-handed or right-handed. If you're right-handed, the closing has to be towards the right. If you're left-handed, the closing has to be towards the left. So what you need to do next is grab something. You know, I found that with the ball styluses, that with the thing that's a little bit bigger than the holes in the pin, and just press a little bit and then remove it, because now you have the imprint of the pin. And we are going to kind of cut it out. And place the pin in. Now there's a few things that you'll have to be careful when you place the pin in. Then grab again the same little piece that you got here. It's gonna have to be a little bit shorter because you have the two ends of the pin. And first, get it really good in with the rest of the clay, and then simply grab your sponge again and see, you cannot see any difference now. Now the things that you need to be careful about before baking: first of all, make sure that this part you have little holes on each side so you can open and close your brooch. So make sure that you leave these holes before anything else, otherwise once the clay is cooked, you won't be able to open or close your brooch. The other thing, see, there's a little pin here, end of wire here, that you need to press in while the clay is still raw, because again, otherwise you won't be able to close your pin. Hi Cindy. And now you can simply bake it. And there you go, you have a brooch. Now let's grab this one. And let me close it first. Let me see, where's the closing? No, the closing is on the other side. Because you don't want to be, you want to bake it open, but to be able to work on it, you need to close it. And if you want to make it look pretty, I forgot to bring my waxes. There are several that you can use, and you can also use any other kind of wax, but you know that I love the Art Alchemy ones. And I'm going to use on the brooch base the vintage gold, because it's a little bit more oldie. Thank you. And then just get over it, and it's going to look like some old style vintagey thing. Of course you can do it with any kind of different base, but you can put silver on it, but generally speaking, Christmassy stuff is more goldish. And again, before doing this, sand the edges. Yeah, I shouldn't have closed it yet. Now, while this has the wax hardening, let me clean my hands. We will start making the essential things. Thank you. Okay, so first of all, let's make a few holly leaves. Why is this here? Okay, put this aside and let's get on the leaves. First of all, of course, I need some jungle green. And if you didn't catch my post, if you look on the Kalyana Design Facebook, you will find that I posted, because jungle is out of, they are not making it anymore, and I posted the recipe for it, how you can make it. Okay, so first I'm gonna get it through the thicker setting. And let's grab a couple. So the length, you want the leaf to be slightly longer. This will be one way of making it. So I'm going first to get any kind of leaf veiner you have, and I'll show you here in a minute how to do it if you don't have a leaf veiner. You can find veiners both in my influencer store and on the PolyClay Play website. of different sizes. And we got some veining on it. Now, depending on, because there are some harder veiners and some softer veiners, so depending on what you want to do, I'm going to show you how you can get a deeper veining. You can do this, but for the purposes of our goal, I'm going to go to get the veins standing up. That's the best thing to do. And this is a little soft. Let me go a little bit thinner. So if you have soft veiners, I'll show you what to do with the soft veiners. Again, place this on. And there we go. And in order to get a holly leaf, I'm going to use first a flexible blade to cut the size of my holly leaf, and maybe even cut it properly all the way, because holly leaves are a little bit longer. This is actually a rose leaf veiner. So you have something like this, and in order to create the shape of the regular shape of the holly, grab a little oval, and you might not have an actual oval cutter, but you can have any other shape of cutters as long as it's got a small thing here. If you don't, you can even use the Kemper or one of the miniature cutters. And I got a corner hair here. And then what you need to do, just make sure that you get them and you need a sharp point at the end. And we got a holly leaf shape that's veined and everything. And what you want to do with it, and you can do this before placing it or after placing it, is to put some, where is it? You want to put some gold, and you can use, let's not use wax, let's use mica powder. And your best bet is to use perfect pearls, because it bonds with the clay when you bake it. Okay. And you only want to do it at the edges. If it's hard, the other thing that you can do is to, let me actually bring it a little, as you need to make sure that you go on the edges all around before doing the next part, because we are talking about a Christmas brooch, right? The other thing that you can do is after finishing the ends, and of course you can go all around, next you can leave it like this and have a gently green gently greenish golden leaf, or use some packing tape and remove the extra gold, leave it only the one that's in the recesses. And now you have one that only has the veins gold. And to bring it an extra notch, you can this time use some green, and I think that this one is too bright. I'm gonna use this winter green. Because when you do this, you only grab the raised areas. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. Okay. And now we have something that's shiny all around, right? So this would be one way. Let me show you another way, including what to do if you don't have a veiner. Okay, first let's grab you can do this with what is this? I just have a pencil that just grew here. I don't remember putting it here. You can use ball stylus. You can use practically a pencil just for the middle thing, or you can use the end of a credit card. But the other thing that you want is to make it a little raised, so we are going to do 2 of these. Next thing, again, take the flexible blade Next, one more time. I made it a little bit too long. Let me make it shorter. Let's fix these. Because we need this in the middle. Yeah, I'm doing a mess here because I'm trying to. Okay, let me do this one more time because I messed it up. I don't have a good angle to see. Just a second. Let me make it not so long and fatter. Remember that you need to make it way fatter than it's going to be in the end because we are cutting these. And then do 2 lines. And then grab the handle of a paintbrush. That's the best thing to use to do this. Just make sure that it's a handle that's nice and smooth. And then start wherever you have a you want to leave only a vein wherever is the tip of what you've cut. Of course, there are different looks and you can make this in a bazillion ways. And make sure that you leave pretty much a vein there. And you get this. Your next thing is what did I do with it? Oh, there it is. Get some green, or you can use, you don't have to use green, it just makes it look prettier. And get it all over. Then again, grab a pinch of packing tape. So see how this time we go backwards than what I did on the other one. And it's entirely up to you how you want to do this, but in this specific case it looks better. Get out of here. It looks better with the veins goldish. And this is more artistic, not so much realistic. But however you decide to make it, you will have a holly leaf or something that will be suggesting a holly leaf. Remember that a lot of times, and I've been telling you many times this, a lot of times the eye only has to perceive an element of something to imagine the whole thing, to already see in their mind the whole thing. Now I think that this has hardened enough. So let's buff it a little bit. It could have sat longer. The longer you let it sit, the shinier it will be. And as I said, it's up to you whatever color you want to make it. Remember that Art Alchemy even has greens and all these pretty colors if you don't necessarily want to make it look like metal. And then our first thing will be, so if I put it like this, I would like, get this out of the way, I would like to have my leaf like this here. Let's make a second leaf like this. So let's get this back. Send me the link to them if you can find them, Christy, and I'll put it out on the Facebook page. And again, we are going to use the raised. We are not going to use the raised. You can use, if you want to use the raised part, use this technique. It looks better. But we are going to do it exactly like the other one. So okay, so it's a place to look, the dollar store, huh? So now let's get this time the gold. And remember, you want the sides the outside. And I'll show you here in a minute another thing that you can put as an embellishment that's really pretty. Well, it's not that fantastic. I mean, it's pretty much a bunch of poor quality stuff. I mean, honestly, do you really think they would sell it for $1 if it was good stuff? The only thing that I think is awesome, and you cannot find it anywhere else, is the toilet cleaner called The Works, the original. You cannot find it anywhere else. It's the best thing to clean your toilet bowl. No, absolutely no scrubbing, rubbing, or anything. Okay. Now, let me clean this area. Before anybody else asks me, this is just a marble tile, the big marble tile that I bought at Lowe's. Okay, now I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick here. First of all, let's give it some Bacon Bond Love. And I'll show you the little trick. First of all, make a few sausages here. And taper the ends. And why is that? Because you want to have your leaf a little bit more natural sitting there, not, you know, stiff. So if we place this here, I'm going to want it to be a little bit raised on one side. Let me get this other one also raised a little. And we got 2 hollies. And now the next thing is the easiest thing to make of all. Thank you, Judy. So this is some pomegranate clay. All this is Premo, right? And I hope to have time, but this one I can do it not long before Christmas, because it's something that you can do easily. Because my next thing is to show you how to do those spice bouquets, so you have time enough to get what you need, and also to make enough to give away for Christmas presents. So make several balls of pomegranate. Then I'll show you a trick on this thing. Now, you can do it before, you can do it after. I prefer to do it before because that way I avoid hi Robbie, I avoid varnish glooping. Okay, so here we will have to put some bacon bond, and because we have mica powder, and generally polymer clay does not bond well when there's powder there. Let's give it some love here. Okay, now the next thing, I'm gonna grab a small, I think I had one here, I don't know where it went. I'm gonna grab a small ball stylus, and I'm going to make it and then use some black. The one here is not big enough. You want these to be small, but not unnoticeable small. Then grab a needle. It can be a needle tool, it can be just a plain needle. Whisper, go to bed, leave me alone. Okay, let me do this. And then just do a little bit of poking. Because remember, this is actually where the flower was on the berries. And what I wanted to tell you, I know that normally I don't use scalpy glaze, but scalpy glaze is one of the very few that can be baked. So I suggest, I didn't have time today to do it, but I suggest you first put these separately. You make them separately, and you can put them on a piece of wire or on needles. You know, grab a, for example, grab a little piece of scrap clay, you know, you make like a bar, then you make your little berries, and you can use even a toothpick, because nobody's going to notice the underside. And you place them like this. You work them, and then you put some scalpy glaze on them, and after that you put them here. Of course you can put glaze after you bake, but the risk is to have the varnish pool between the berries. Hi Chris, a lot of Chris's today. So the only thing that you can still do if you want to give it a little bit even more oomph, but I can tell you that normally the red on the berries is enough. You can do just one little touch of, and you can go a little bit on the sides of the black dots. And another thing you can do, of course, if you have patience, you can put rhinestones instead of the black dots. But this is pretty much your holly berry bow of holly brooch, and it's really neat. Now when you bake it, put it on top of two, so it doesn't get deformed. Put it on top of two tiles or two mirrors in such a way that the pin will be right between them. You don't need, if you have mirror tiles, those would be perfect, because you don't need, the pin is quite low inside, so you can bake it like this, and that way you don't risk for it to deform in any way. But let me show it very close up. Let me refocus the camera. And as I said, I'm going to show you, hopefully before Christmas, how to do these in different ways, in a couple more different ways. But there we go. This is your little Christmas bow of holly brooch. And I hope this, as I said, I hope this week to be able to put out the spice bouquets, because it's not very difficult, but you can see that your brooch is perfect for the holidays. Okay, thank you for being here with me, and I will see you next Sunday when we'll make something even prettier. Actually, I'm going to post a question on the community tab on the channel, asking you what you prefer, because remember I did that before. I'm gonna put out a poll, and we'll see what everybody wants for next time. Is the Clayo sponge, this sponge, Donna Cato's. I'm going to try and find it, if anywhere there is, and I'm going to post a link on the community tab and on the Facebook page. Okay, thank you so much, and I will see you next Sunday. Have a wonderful